Once a preacher boy was told he couldn't preach it straight and strong, the 10 Commandments and perhaps the Golden Rule. No one wanted him to tell them what was right and what was wrong, so he asked an old-time preacher what to do. Just preach Jesus, born and crucified and risen from the dead. Just preach Jesus as he paid for sin with the precious blood he shed. Lord and Savior, King of kings, Son of God and Son of man. Just preach Jesus.
And welcome to SGNP. Darien Southerland, Arthur Rice. Arthur, do you realize it's been a year since me and you've been on the air together, my buddy?
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, you know what? We didn't get rid of Daniel or nothing. Daniel's still in the mix. Daniel's still our buddy.
Yep.
But
he texted me last night and said, when we going to do a podcast? I said, well, me and you are going to do one tomorrow. I said, I told him, I said, he lasted longer than I thought he would.
That's funny. You know, we've done 153 shows. Did you know that? Yeah. Southern Gospel Podcast done 153 shows. And here's what I know about it. Okay. And we're like the Underground Railroad of Southern gospel music.
Yeah.
But because here's why I know we never get no mention in national publications, in other places. But there's not a time that I don't go to a concert or get on social media that people bring it up to me. And they say, hey, and these are, if I mention the names of people, these are household names in gospel music world that say, hey, why ain't you doing that anymore? And I said, well, Daniel, it's taking my place because I've been so busy. But, you know, Arthur, me and you both have been busy and had a change of season in our life. And it's been a positive for both of us. I mean, you know, for folks that don't know, you left the Kingdom Heirs, of course. I mean, you're now leading music every week. So, and you had to go to all the senior citizen events and all that kind of good stuff. Is that not true?
Part of them.
Part of them,
yeah.
And you part of them?
I are one. As the old man said, I are one.
So let me ask you this. You've always been a beanpole. Have you gained any weight since you're now a minister of music?
I tell you, it won't be if I keep eating like I've been eating. This is a fellowship in this church I've ever been in my life. Tammy and I were talking about the other day. We was talking about, man, we've been here about 4 months now, and that's like every other Sunday is a fellowship, and so, and then we're fixing to change our schedule to do a Sunday or to do a Wednesday. We're doing a Wednesday morning service.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's called Heritage Keepers. And for the most part, Ralph Sexton Jr. will be doing that service most of the time. And it's just a fun service. He preaches, of course, but we have fun and games and stuff. And then we have lunch. And then we feed the congregation before the 6:30 service. At night, so we got 2 meals right there. So we eat this bunch over here, but we have a good time.
Now, I hadn't asked you this yet, and since you left, because you and I hadn't talked that much. We've talked a couple of times, and it's not because we don't like each other, folks. We just stay busy. I mean, Arthur's got a wife and 2 boys, and running all around and everything else. And I've got a family and a business to run and all that kind of good stuff. And Arthur, I'm sure he still helps with his wife's business and all that. But you doing any solo stuff? What are you doing in the way of that?
You know, I'm not. I've had a few people ask, but you know, I've just kind of devoted all my time, you know, and effort to the church. And of course, you know, Tammy's busy in the SGMA. We just opened up the museum, and she's been busy in that. And so, you know, I've been helping her when I can, or what I need, you know, whatever I need to do there. But I just kind of I didn't I didn't leave the group to go solo, and I just haven't done anything. I just, the church is keeping me busy, and I'm singing about every service here. So, I'm good. And I don't, at some point, maybe, I don't know. You never say never.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I just haven't found the need to do that.
Don't be bashful when I ask you this question. And folks,
Yeah.
we got a great interview coming up in just a minute, but don't be bashful when I ask you this question. How much time do you actually put? I don't think people realize how much time you put in as a president of the SGMA. How much work?
It can be time consuming. I mean, when we opened the new museum, this year, I mean, we worked, of course, my wife worked, there were several, for several weeks there was many nights she worked all night long.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking just standing around on a computer or something. I'm talking about on her hands and knees, polishing the floor or hammering a nail or hanging pictures and stuff. Like, she's the worker. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have nothing.
Wow.
And there was we had a few of those nights when but that was just, it's just, you do what you do, do what you can, and there's no way we could have afforded to pay somebody to do all that stuff. So somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, and you found a home, which is good.
Exactly.
Because
and now the hard part's done, and Lord willing, we'll be there for a long time, and can kind of now, we can kind of relax a little bit and enjoy that. But we still need, that's our giving has been down because I think people think now that we have a home, we don't have any expenses, which is wrong. Because part of the reason we have a home is because our rent is free, but we don't make anything off of the museum. They charge to go through. They've got 3 museums there at Biblical Times, and they charge to go through there. We don't make anything off of that, but that's part of our deal. Was you provide us a place, and you guys make the income, and that's what we want to do. We want to bring people in so that we prove our worth to them, and so we're okay with that. So we're kind of in a we've raised a bunch of money, but we spent a bunch of money to build it and to build a museum, and then so now you got to have operating capital, so you still have expenses.
So for folks that don't know what we're talking about, and believe it or not, there's some what I call non-P1 listeners out there that don't realize.
Absolutely.
What I call P1 listener is somebody who listens to everything Southern Gospel, no matter what's going on. They listen to it, whether it's radio, interviews like this, or anything else they can find. And they know that whether they've read the Singing News or another magazine or newsletter or whatever, those people certainly know that the Southern Gospel Music Association Hall of Fame has moved from Dollywood there in Sevierville to Biblical Times, another theme park type place. Okay. But if you don't, and here comes Squire. Squire's coming in. But if you don't know that that's happened, then you're hearing it right here from Arthur.
Yeah.
And you need to go by Biblical Times and see it. Squire, are you there, my friend?
I am here. How about you?
You know what? I'm doing well. Arthur's doing well. And sometimes, you have that saying in life, I just love old people. Well, here's a guy who runs a studio for podcasters, and we were supposed to meet at 3:00, and I can't even get these 2 old guys on the phone because of our inadequacies over here. So I just love 53-year-old people. How about that? Does that sound better?
Hey, that sounds fine. I'll be the senior here, and I'll just say, just blame it on me, okay?
You know what? You were the one that was fine. Me and Arthur was saying, of course, Squire, I don't know if you know this. Arthur and I have done 153 episodes of this with various country and contemporary and gospel artists. And I hadn't done it with Arthur in a year. Daniel Brett has took my place. And I said to Arthur about a week ago, I said, man, we need to get back at it because people are telling us this is a ministry they like to listen to when they're in their bus and the tractor trailer driving down the road, at home, whatever. And we started thinking about guests and who to call. And you've been on with us a couple of times. And I said to him, we need to get Squire Parsons. And he said, why is that? And I said, because we'll ask Squire 2 questions. Squire will start talking, bless all our hearts, preach to us, make us laugh, make us cry. And then we don't have to say nothing else. And everybody will tell us how good our first show is. Is that about right,
That's
Arthur?
right. That's about it. That's it.
You're
Absolutely.
being very kind.
No. So tell the world what's going on with Squire Parsons. What's going on with you now, my friend?
Well, I'm not doing a whole lot except trying to fix stuff here at the house and tearing up what I'm trying to fix. So my wife's going to get new stuff and I start working on something. And but anyway, I'm staying busy, just being home. I thought, man, I'll probably get bored. I haven't been bored yet because I just don't have the time to get everything done that I think. It's not that I have that much on my agenda. It's just it takes me a lot longer than it used to.
There you go.
But,
There you go. Arthur,
but
what you got?
I'm going back through a lot of my older songs. I'm writing 1 or 2 new ones, but there's quite a few that I haven't brought out to people, and I've been looking at maybe trying to get some of these songs out to see if anyone would be interested in them. I also am thinking about just doing a collection of my demos because I can't sing them like I used to, but I thought, well, maybe with just putting the collection of some that were recorded on the bus, you hear a generator going, and some you hear kids hollering, and anyway, I thought I may just make those available, let people decide, if they like the demos or not. And maybe if there's a group or 2 that may want them, that'd be fine. But I'm not really ate up with trying to get in the competition of trying to get the songs recorded or anything like that. I have been blessed and a lot of wonderful friends, and got one of them right here that's been very responsible for keeping me busy, and that's Arthur. And his collection of Squire songs just is an honor to me and to anyone else. I'm thrilled the Lord has allowed me to supply music for others. Also enjoying probably about 60 recordings of my own. I got to look, I used to dream back in West Virginia, where I was originally from, but someday getting to record a album, and then I look back at how God has allowed. Now, these are songs that I've recorded of my own, or a lot of them would not have been recorded, but I'm just so thankful that I'm 74 now and not singing like I used to, and which that wasn't the best then. But anyway, it's certainly time has made a change, the old song says. And whenever I do a demo or something like that now, I think, I don't know if I want to send that out or not. I remember one time, my wife said, let somebody else talk, But anyway,
Mine says the same thing. Don't worry. We're in good company.
Hey, one thing that goes through my mind is something to be thankful for. I remember a few months ago, I got an email from Arthur that said, if you want me to do any of your demos for you, he said I'd be honored to do that. And so Arthur may get a bunch of songs here pretty soon to do a
Well,
demo for
Hey,
me. That's
hey,
well, I would be first in line to buy your demo CD, your CD, because I would love that. I've recorded many songs that once I got them recorded, I go, well, I remember the demo being a whole lot better than what I ended up with.
well, Squire, let me stop you before you send them to Arthur, okay? Because let me remind you something. Bill Gaither made a lot of money off people that was 70 years old. So maybe you need to send them demos to him and you and Bill make some money like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people know who Squire Parsons is. Poor old Jake and Hovey, they ain't heard from him in 10 or 15 years when Bill put them back on stage. So, you know.
he's got so many people to choose from and all like that. And he also, it has to be something that really hits him right between the eyes before he'll make room on one of his videos or something for somebody else's song.
Gotcha.
I'd hate to think what his number of songs would be that he's composed and hidden Gloria. And,
Yeah.
You just think about it. I'd like to get in those culls
Yeah.
and see what he thought. That's not good enough. I imagine there's some jewels in there that would bless folks, but Bill Gaither's already done so much for all of us, and just by giving us the exposure that we would never have our own. And even though most of us never got anything from the videos as far as recording and all like that, but just having I remember Glenn and George used to talk about, saying, man, the exposure and the advertising that we're getting, we could never afford to buy it.
Right.
And so I'm just very thankful for that. And like also with Arthur, when he'd sing songs of mine, he would mention my name or tell the story behind them. And people would tell me how that if they'd come see the shows at Dollywood, what a blessing he was in sharing the stories behind it. So I've been blessed. I cannot complain. I'm just going to do what I can do. Whatever the Lord sets in front of me, I'll try to undertake it.
There you go. Arthur, what you got?
Man, I appreciate you, Squire. You're always encouraging, and I love it when you get to come to church and I see you sitting out there. Man, it's so encouraging to see you out there. And he was Squire was there my first Sunday, and sitting out in the audience, and boy, it just gave me such peace knowing he was there. He's been such a blessing to me over the years, buddy. I appreciate you.
Well, it works both ways, buddy, and I'm not there every time that I like to be because of health reasons, and also with my wife. We have had to take care of some things here, and as both of us getting old, and we're already feeling things hurting that we didn't know we had.
I understand.
Oh my, but boy, we're sure glad that you're at the church and doing a wonderful job. And I've got some choral songs, choral arrangements I'm going to throw at you pretty soon for you and the church.
Absolutely. I'm needing it.
And I think I'll have a new song with the backup. If I just write out the backup singer stuff for the choir, I was thinking, while the arrangement's already there for a lot of them, it sounds like a choir. And
Yeah.
I thought they could do that, and it wouldn't take them long at all. So Lord's really blessed us, Darien, by having Arthur at the church, and I'm just excited what he's already doing, but what's coming up in the future.
That's awesome. That's all. Squire, answer me this question. And you said you're 74 years young. And when you look at your bio, it very clearly says at the front, your dad was a deacon and a song leader at Newton Baptist Church in West Virginia. When you look back at those nuggets of being raised at Newton Baptist Church in West Virginia, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Oh, just a wonderful Christian home that I've never met any greater Christians than my mom and dad. I mean, dad was there at the little church, leading the music and teaching Sunday school class, and my mother singing in the choir, but just a little church choir, and then just her teaching also. I was really blessed with a wonderful Christian home and two great brothers, Tom and Virgil. Virgil's my brother, and then also my sister Carolyn. She's 10 years older than me. She's one of the reasons that I always enjoyed trying to play the piano, because she was a great singer and pianist, and the Lord has used her in a wonderful way. She's 10 years old than me. Virgil's 7 years exactly. I was born on his birthday. He told me, he said, I'd never gotten over how you messed up my 7th birthday. I said, well, I can't get over how you messed up all of mine. But we have been blessed, and with a wonderful family. Tom, our youngest brother, is such a wonderful young man there in the community. And I'm just so thrilled that God has given me the family. And I was leading up to say the church. The church was also, though small, it was played a great part in my life. Wonderful friends and neighbors, many my age, but also the older folks were, I thought about how they could have, been very hard on me because I was not always doing everything right or doing it the way they wanted, but they were all so very encouraging. And I just thank the world for that church and for my family. And so that's immediately what I think of as I look back over, if I might say, the launching pad or the foundation of what little work we've been able to do.
That's so cool, because as the older I get, and like I said, I'm 21 years younger than you. I'm 53. The more of those memories become sweeter to me the older I get. And now the older you get, the more you realize what that song "Sweeter as the Days Go By" actually really means. Would you agree, Arthur? Do you remember those days when you were a kid growing up and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well,
I remember I remember Arthur growing up in our church. I tell you that. He was, to see him grow in music and in the Lord, it just does us all so much good as we see him now and see how God used him. Didn't mean to interrupt there.
Oh, you
no. Well, that's part of, that's, having you, Squire, in the church, just somebody to look up to, you and Ernie and Wayne Maynard and Mark Trammell. And, we've had some great folks come through our church, been a part of our church. We're great mentors, to us when we were younger growing up. And that just sets you on the right path, not just you folks or you pastor, but to be able to see folks that are doing things that you would like to be doing and living right and honoring God. And that just puts you on the right path. It really does.
It's wonderful. And now it's our turn, I guess you might say, to try to be an encouragement to others.
Exactly.
We're hopefully not finished yet, not hung up on the nail yet, but
yeah.
But But yeah, that's why God gave us, established the church. You know, it for each other. And
You know, Squire, it's easy for us to talk about gospel music legends like George and Glenn and Jim Hamill and Eldridge and Bill Gaither and people like that. You know, it's easy for us to talk about gospel music legends like Glenn and George or Hovey or Bill Gaither or so many others, Jim Hamill, so many others like that. But tell the world, Squire, about that person that was an influence to you that nobody's never heard of, that just blessed your life. And if you could hear them sing a song again, maybe it'd been that little lady in the corner of the choir that couldn't sing real good, but when she sang, it inspired you. Or maybe it was a little old man that got up and sang one signature song every so often. Who is that person in your life? I think we've all got one or two, I think.
yes, I thank you because this is a person that was somewhat known, but he had so much input on my life, and that was Conrad Cook.
Yeah.
He wrote Glory Road and many wonderful songs. Yes, is that the Old Ship of Zion, and many other songs that the Kingsmen recorded. And I had the privilege of pitching them to the Kingsmen for Conrad. But he and I was in college about my junior year in music and somewhat discouraged. I'd been praying the Lord. There was a good Christian people around me, but you know, the Lord, before he does something, he usually puts a hungering in your heart for it. And had a hunger for someone that I might share the Lord with, but also gospel music. I was in trouble in college because my music vocal instructor didn't want me sing gospel music because he was trying to teach me another style. And anyway, my junior year, Conrad Cook, 15 years older than me, came back to finish his degree so that he could teach music. And he had left years before thinking that he was going to be the next Ray Charles. I mean, he loved black country, but he loved just black old-fashioned rock and roll too. And anyway, Conrad left and with a band, and he ended up doing other things in life, working at a funeral home, and I don't know what all he did, but he came back. And it was the very first day of the orientation of our junior year that a mutual friend knew that I loved gospel music. He wasn't even a Christian then. And he said, Squire, there's this guy that I've been telling you about that loves gospel music. You've got to meet him. He's here. He's back to finish his degree. Squire Parsons, this is Conrad Cook. And that started a relationship for me in music that I might say semi-professional music. Dad and my uncles and others in our community had influenced me so much up to that point. But God had the right person there. It's kind of like the race where they hand off the baton. That's the word I'm trying to to another racer, you know, and that type of thing. It happened spiritually. There was someone took me up so far, and they still were in my life. But there was another one that took up the baton right there, and led me on. And he was the first one that ever said to me, Squire, have you ever thought about writing a gospel song? And I started writing my first songs at that point. And one of the first ones was Look for Me at Jesus' Feet. And we had a quartet that we ended up singing together on the weekends, the Calvaryman Quartet with my brother Virgil and his brother Bernard and then Jim Humphreys from Charleston, and then Conrad played the piano. And we had a wonderful time just going from church to church as far as we could go, singing together, and then trying out our new songs that we would write. But yes, that person that may not be in the Hall of Fame yet, but I hope he will be, Conrad Cook. He certainly touched my life. And there are many others, but he especially was there. He took the baton as far as an encourager for me. And we always had a very close relationship, and I love Conrad and his family.
Cool. Good stuff. See, Arthur, we always learn new stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, Connor was a jewel, buddy. He was one of a kind, man. Loved him.
So before we get out of here, Arthur, what you got? What else you got for Squire? We're gonna have to cut it short here just a second. But what else you got, my friend?
Well, I just love Squire. We always love having him on. I appreciate him so much. I sat out here in my car so I could get some quiet, and my battery's dead. I'm gonna have to jump it off here. So how about that? That's a Hall of Famer for you right there, buddy.
Whatever your car caught, my car caught two of them. So bills off this week, so I'm not gonna park close to you anymore.
Yeah, don't park close to me.
Well, before long, both of you be driving an electric car, so it won't have to go dead. Don't y'all worry. All right.
That's right. That's right. Squire, I love you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Love you, bud. I appreciate you, and thank God for you. And Darien, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this program today, and just pray the Lord's blessings on y'all. Keep it up.
Squire, I appreciate your wisdom, man, because every time we talk to you, we get wisdom, and we get great information, and you just share nuggets that bless people's lives. And to let you know, I mean, you've been on with us twice, and both times you've been on with us, we get emails talking about, and I don't even know if you remember the first time you were on with us, you were talking about somebody maybe needing to do something for the Lord. And we got letters from people that said, that hit me just at that time. And the great thing about podcasts that are different than radio is they may not listen to them today, next week. They may listen to these in 5 or 6 years, but they'll still be a blessing then and still be relevant in people's lives. So thank you for sharing with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And like I said, may the Lord bless you all and bless all the folks out there. Bloom where you're planted. Glorify for every opportunity that you get.
That's it. Squire Parsons on SGNP. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Arthur and I'll close the show out on Southern Gospel News Podcast. Hey, this is Darren, and I'm here for my buddy Mike Lindell and My Pillow. That's right, My Pillow. I got to tell you a little secret, and this is a true story. The other day I'm laying in the bed. I looked at Mary and I said, I'm going to get me some new pillows today. She said, what do you need with new pillows? You got them. I said, I got one that's decent. And I didn't know which one it was. I mean, I knew which one it was, and I pulled the cover off of it, and it was only My Pillow. The rest of them were these ones that we bought from TJ Maxx or Target or Walmart or somewhere that just had worn out their welcome. And you know what, guys? I feel like I needed new pillows. And she said, well, why don't you call My Pillow, because you like the one you got there, and tell them what you're looking for, and they'll help you out. You know what? I called, and guess what? They helped me out. They asked me what size I was. They asked me how I slept. Did I sleep on my back or on my side or on my stomach? What felt right? Feathers or, blah, 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 foam. They asked me all these questions. More questions than I ever dreamed about a pillow, and I got my new My Pillow in the mail, and I've slept right. You want that change in your life? It's real simple. 1-800-338-2330. 1-800-338-2330.
use the code word SGNP. That's right, the code word SGNP. And tell them you heard about this special offer. And when you use that code, you'll get a great discount from the folks at MyPillow. I use MyPillow. You should too. 1-800-338-2330. Use the code SGNP. MyPillow, the official pillow and sleep provider of Southern
Well, folks,
Gospel
I said
News
we were
Podcast.
going to come back with Arthur Rice. We're having a little technical difficulties. Arthur's out in the middle of those western North Carolina hills. But I like what Squire said. Bloom where you planted. There's a lot of folks out there that are, and I've been one of them in my life, wanting other things other than what we've been given. And there's a lot of people that are not like me culturally or spiritually or physically or anything else. It's bloomed where they've been planted. I think of, preachers. I think of Sunday school teachers. I think of missionaries, but I also think of workers, carpenters. I think of professional athletes, musicians, singers. And just because you don't get the honor of being like Squire Parsons to write Beulah Land or Hello Mama or one of these great songs, don't mean that God can't use you to bless other people just as much. Hey, thank you for allowing me to jump back on SGNP. Daniel will be back soon. I'll be back soon. Arthur will be back always if we can get his phone working on that side. He's sitting there with a dead battery in a car is what he told Squire a while ago. But anyway, we'll get that fixed. Maybe the church will hear this and they'll take up a special love offering for his battery. I'm kidding, Arthur. I'm kidding. But let me say this about Arthur before I get out of here. I appreciate his friendship and I appreciate him doing 100 so of these shows with me. It's been fun. And thank you guys for allowing me to come into your home. Do me a favor, listen and like and comment on SGNP. We appreciate it. It's Darien Southerland. We'll talk to you next week on Southern Gospel News Podcast. Bye-bye.
Preach Jesus, born and crucified and risen from the dead. Just preach Jesus as he paid for sin with the precious blood he shed.